All right, I'll go ahead and get started. We're at 12:01. So my name is Dr. Jacob Reed. I am an assistant professor at the University of Louisville in the Industrial and Systems Engineering Department, and I am the program director for the online Master of Science in ISE. Um, I've been teaching at U of L for almost 2 years now. I was also a student, so I'm a three-time alumni from U of L, and I'm also from around Louisville, not in Louisville, but around Louisville. And I've been program director for this for actually about a year now. So I almost have my feet under me, but I know more than I did last year. And the purpose of today's info session is just to give you all, the audience that are here or watching this recording, some more information about the program. I'll have some summary, high-level program information, but then we'll have a Q&A at the end where I'll take whatever questions, whatever lingering questions I might not have answered yet from the info session materials. One big thing I do want to highlight is that our program, even though this is an engineering program, which might shy some people away, we are accepting of a variety of backgrounds, bachelor degree backgrounds that don't necessarily have to be in engineering. The main requirement we have is that you have calculus on your transcripts. And if you don't, and you have the prerequisites to take a calculus course, we can point you to some very economical and accessible resources to take a calculus course. Okay, I won't be able to see chat, faces, or anything like that while I'm doing this because I only have two screens. What a tragedy. But I will have Q&A at the end, so I will get to questions. So first thing I want to address is why you might even consider an MSISE degree. A lot of you here may have already, provided yourself some reasoning or justification to make that decision, but I'm here to give you some more reasons. It's a great variety. It can apply in a great variety of not only industries, but also roles within an industry or within a company. And so you see a bunch of different companies on the screen here. You see a bunch of different industries, like the healthcare industry, manufacturing industry, defense and military, et cetera. And a lot of those companies. As a matter of fact, we have several alumni that work at a number of these companies on the screen here. What ISE gives you as a skill set is when I was a student, one of the things they constantly told us was each class we were adding more tools to our tool belt. So essentially, as an industrial systems engineer, you are getting the tool belt if you don't already have it and adding a bunch of different tools to your tool belt to make you more productive, more have a greater skill set in the workplace. And so that includes things like human factors design, taking into account humans and systems, system design itself, hence the name, a look at operations and management and manufacturing, statistical analysis, data analysis, all sorts of things. There's a wide variety of skill sets we learn, and it can, if you're looking to pivot your career, it can give you that the skill sets that might help you with that pivot. If you're a little hesitant to move out of your industry into another industry, this could be something that can help with that. And as I mentioned at the top, diverse backgrounds welcome. We've had a large number of students. I can't necessarily speak to the number exactly at the moment, but students who come to our program without an engineering background and not even really an extensive math background, but they have the math skills to handle the quantitative reasoning in our coursework. So really the only prerequisite, if you want to call it that, to being admitted into the program is Calculus 1. It can be taken at U of L. It doesn't have to be taken at U of L. If you already have it on your transcripts, you don't need to take it again. There are some good options. One that has become really popular with students and applicants is the Straighterline website, which is option number 3, General Calculus 1 on their course listings. It, to me, seems like a very economical and very accessible course, as you can do it. I think you can start it when you're ready. You don't have to wait for a specific start date. And it takes you as long as it takes you to complete it. Some students complete it really quickly. Some take longer. It really just depends on what your schedule looks like. But you have other options you can look into if that doesn't work for you, and we can talk about that more offline if needed. We do assess readiness for the program on a case-by-case basis, and I am the department resource that will review applications and approve or not approve or determine if they need, more materials, or, for example, if you're lacking calculus, I'll let you know about needing to get calculus done on your transcripts. But yeah, we've seen students have success in our courses, whether or not they have an engineering background, which is really a unique and nice feature about our program that I really like. ISE has had some good news that has come out across a couple of different sources, and so the two that I like to highlight, and there's more we could look at besides these two, I just like to highlight these two in terms of ranking and job growth. So U.S. News and World Report will put together this ranking list every year, and not sure if the 2026 list is out. I don't believe it is. But when we get that list, I'll be interesting to see what these numbers change to. In last year's most recent report, they ranked ISE as the #1 in best engineering jobs. So amongst all engineering, #1, that's pretty cool. #11 in STEM jobs, still pretty good. And #19 overall. So that's the entire job market. They put ISE at #19. That's pretty impressive. And it looks at a number of factors, not just the number of jobs, but also things like job satisfaction, work-life balance, compensation, salary, benefits, all that good stuff. Puts them all together into some type of measuring algorithm that ranks them. But one of those factors, the number of jobs, was, you could see there almost 41,000, which is really good. And then you have the link here if you want to access this report for yourself. There's a lot of good information in the report if you want to read more about ISE. And then in terms of job growth, there are a couple sources you can get this information or similar information, just depends on where they're pulling their data from. But according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, we look at the industrial engineering category, you'll notice that the overall job market growth is about 3%. Engineering is about 7%, but IEs and ISEs are all the way up at 11%. So even within our own field, we're beating the average in terms of job growth. And that's projected job growth, as you see, through 2034, which is really good. I'll have a copy of these slides sent, by the way. I have a shared copy. I can either post it in the chat if that's easy enough for you all to download, or I'll have it sent to your email that you use to register for this session at the end. So in our program, there's 2 study pathways. You all are all here probably to hear about the online, but I just want you to be aware of how the program works. So if you're, even though you may only be interested in online, I think it's good for you all to know it's the same program as the on-campus program. There's no significant difference between online and on-campus other than anything that, has to be different. So for example, online classes are different in that they're 8-week terms instead of a 15 to 16 week semester period. So you're not committing to 15 or 16 weeks per course. You're only committing to 8 weeks for a single course if you take our courses. There are some online courses for electives at U of L that we allow you to take, but that's up to your decision if you want to do that, and they might not always follow the same format our courses follow. But the courses are also asynchronous because it's online, so you're not committing to, come into a lecture for 1 or 2 hours at a specific designated time each week, and that's by design so that students have the flexibility to, consume or review course content at their schedule. So you can do this while you work. We have several, pretty much most of our students are working professionals. There are a few that are not. If you are a working professional, you might be taking less classes than someone who isn't working while they're taking courses. So it really, we have the flexibility to accommodate a number of different situations and schedules as needed. But it's the same admission standards, same degree requirements, the same number of courses, the same expectations of those quality of courses. The other difference being online, we don't really have the advanced manufacturing focus area, unfortunately. We just don't have those courses in an online format. But we do have all the other focus areas: data analytics, logistics and supply chain, and human factors. And all that being said, depending on, what situation you may be coming to our program as working professional, non-working professional, military, non-military, whatever it is, You can finish in as little as a year. It says 1.5 on there. With certain circumstances, students have finished in 2 semesters, but you have to come in with transfer credits and take a full course load, which not everybody can do. But you can finish within 2 years. 1.5 to 2 years is, I think, realistic for most students who come into the program. So in the master's program, whether you're online or on campus, and if you're local, you might even be able to take some on-campus courses if that's something that works for your schedule. But regardless, in the master's program, you have 3 course plan options. Number 1, which is by far the most popular for the online student population, is the course-only option, which means you're completing your degree just taking courses. It's 30 credit hours, which most of the time is 10 courses. Very rare circumstance you would take a course that's not 3 credit hours. So 10 courses most of the time. Project-based, that project is a 3 credit hour course, so that takes one of your 10 courses away. Not away, but supplements it. So now you're taking 27 credit hours of courses and 3 credit hours of a project. Thesis takes up 6 credit hours. So now you're taking 8 courses for 24 credit hours and 6 credit hours of thesis. I won't talk too much about project and thesis beyond that, just because most students don't take it, and we have to meet some certain criteria to be able to go down either one of those paths. But they are options that are there and available for students who that works better for them than the course-only option. Yeah, I like to say you can customize your education because everybody likes customizing everything with ISE at U of L. As I mentioned, the 3 focus areas that we have available in the online track: human factors, data analytics, and then the logistics supply chain area. Think about the types of roles that you might be looking to get into or pivot your career into, or things that might just interest you in the future or now. Things like health and safety engineer or user experience designer might be interested in the human factors focus area courses. If you're looking to be a supply chain engineer, you might be interested in supply chain logistics courses. Data scientists, business analyst, operations analysts might be interested in data analytics and operations research. So you can tailor your MSISE degree to what your interests are within those 3 focus areas. You could also be more of a generalist and dip into each pool a little bit, and you don't have to have a single focus area. These focus areas are really there to help students who have a specific direction they want to go into and cater their coursework to that. But like I said, you could take courses from all the focus areas if you really wanted to. On the right here, you'll see certificate options. So students have the option to earn certificates while they're getting their degree. And you don't have to add any additional coursework onto your course plan, onto your degree plan, to pursue and achieve any of these certificates. So I'll get into kind of the degree expectations on the next slide. But if you were getting a MSISE degree and you were really interested in the healthcare systems engineering certificate, all the courses you would take for that certificate would also count towards your degree. So you would be within those 30 credit hours, those 10 courses. You can get up to 3 certificates along the way to your MSISE degree. We have to make sure we select your courses appropriately, and I advise students from the academic side of things on what courses to take and when to take them and which certificates you're going to pursue to make sure that your degree plan makes sense. But you can get up to 3 certificates along the way to your degree without taking any extra courses. You can surely go for more certificates if you really want to, but at that point you will be taking on more credit hours than just the required 30. Here's a look at the ISE course curriculum available in the online format. Like I said, we don't have the advanced manufacturing focus area because those courses aren't available. So there are more ISE courses we offer on campus than online. That just is a matter of having to develop more of those courses in an online format. This curriculum is also, I can't remember the specific start date, but it is coming up soon. with the systems engineering course. So that currently is not being offered as of right now. I can't remember if it starts in the fall, if it starts in the spring, or maybe later. But we did add systems to our department name. We were the IE, or Industrial Engineering Department, prior to May of last year. So as of right now, you would be taking ISE 560 and 664 as your two core courses: probability and statistics for engineers and experimental design and engineering. That makes up 6 credit hours. In the future, that'll also have systems engineering, which makes up 9 credit hours. But once you have your core coursework completed, not necessarily, they don't necessarily have to be done first, but 560 typically needs to be done first because it has other courses it's a prerequisite for. Then you can start thinking about what additional courses you want to add onto your degree. So an ISE degree, an MSISE degree, requires 5 ISE courses, which means you have 5 technical electives that you can take that don't have to be ISE courses, but they can be. Some students will do all ISE coursework for their degree. Some will do just the minimum 5 ISE courses for their degree, and there's really a lot of variability between those. It might also depend on what certificates you want to get, because there is a certificate in our department, but is under another degree program, the engineering management program. And those engineering management courses, while not ISE courses, do meet your technical elective requirement. So I won't go through each course individually because we wouldn't have enough time for that, really. But say you were interested in human factors, which is my background, you might take Intro to HF, Advanced Topics in HF, and when it's offered, Usability Engineering. That's one of those courses that's not always offered every year. That would give you 9 more credit hours to add on to your starting 6. So now you're at 15, and there's all your ISE coursework. If you're doing the course-only option, then we have 15 more credit hours to complete. If you're doing the project option, we have 12 more hours to complete, plus your project. And the thesis, you would be doing 9 more credit hours plus the thesis. And you can, again, select from these ISE courses. You could select some non-ISE courses as technical electives. I have a list that I give students when I'm advising them of some of those electives, just so they're aware of some options. But I don't maintain that list because they're not our courses. I don't manage them, so it's hard for me to keep up with those. But students sometimes come with other courses we haven't approved before. We'll review them and approve them if they're appropriate for the degree, because they do need to be technical in nature, as this is a technical degree. There are scholarships available in our department. They are merit-based primarily, and they are offered on a semester-by-semester basis. So if you apply and are admitted for the fall, you could apply for our scholarships for the fall semester, and if you receive them, then you'll receive a percentage of your enrolled credit hours that you currently have on your account, and it's percentage based. I don't necessarily want to say the exact percentage because I don't know. It kind of varies from time to time. But it is percentage based on your enrolled credit hours, and the scholarships are available to those paying the full tuition rate of $850 per credit hour. Also with pending availability of funding, of course. Can't give out scholarships we don't have money for. And you do have to be enrolled, and it's semester by semester basis. And so we'll review applications as they come in. It is a competitive scholarship, so you may apply and may not get it one semester, then you may apply the next semester and get it. So it just depends on the semester. There's a link here to fill out an online form for the scholarship that I'll be reviewing when they come in. And there's a note here about if you are currently a U of L student holding any scholarships, that means trustees, Porter scholarships. For example, if you're an undergraduate student here at U of L continuing in your master's degree, you may be able to use those towards your MSISE degree, but you'll have to review your current scholarship guidelines and what the parameters are of that. All right, I have more information that I can talk about, but I'd rather at this point open it up to Q&A and questions. So with that, I will leave this slide up and try to navigate back to the Teams meeting, where I hope everyone hasn't left yet. We're still got people in here. That's good. So you have my name, contact information here. Again, I'll have a copy of these slides either sent out through the chat or to your email that you registered for the info session with, because I imagine some people may have registered and didn't make it. You also have Miss Leanne L's contact information here. I see she's now in the meeting. Leanne, if there's anything you wanna say before we open up Q&A, please do.
Hello, hello. I'm jumping on real quick. I have another appointment to run to shortly, but first I want to welcome each of you to the session today. I caught most of it, so great job. And we'll open it up to Q&A, because I know everybody's time is very sensitive during the lunch hour. So let us know. But welcome aboard.
Yeah, so if you have any questions, you can just hop off mute or raise your hand
Hi.
or however you want to do it. Hey.
Hello, my name is Antoine Batts. I just had a question about the sort of softwares and technical skills that's developed on the program. I was wondering if you could tell me what the type of skills that we develop. Like, is like SolidWorks used, MATLAB, those type of things? And if you could talk about the different concentrations that you know of, that'd be helpful as well.
Yeah. Software that is used would include, I can't think of any of our courses that use SolidWorks in our department. We will use Excel and Minitab quite a bit when it comes to like spreadsheet modeling, statistical analysis, data analysis. Python, I think, is working its way into a number of the coursework from a coding perspective. In the system simulation course, we use what's called Simio for discrete event simulation modeling. You may use AutoCAD for facility design in the facility location and layout course, although I wouldn't say AutoCAD is taught in the course. And it's not a big requirement of the course, but if you come in with some AutoCAD knowledge, you'll get a chance to, exercise those muscles a little bit, so to speak. In operations research, I'm not sure what specific program she might be using in there, but there may be some program related to optimization modeling in that course. And I'm just looking through the courses here to see what I can think other software might be. As far as technical skills, data analysis would be a big one. Simulation modeling would be one. Statistical and data analysis. If you're in the human factors focus area, user-centered design is kind of a big topic that I think spans multiple of those courses. Yeah, I hope that answers the question. Does that answer the question? Antoine?
Sounds like he was driving. Hey, Dr. Reed, I had a few questions if we want to.
Sure.
Hop on. So you mentioned, so I'd be an online student with this, and you did mention and recommended that you just take courses instead of doing project or thesis. Does that is that in addition? If you were to do the coursework one, is that in addition to the 30 hours, or is that included in your 30 hours? Sorry, I missed if you mentioned that already.
Right. The thesis, project, or course options are 3 different paths for the. I see your message, Antoine. I think we all appreciate that. Are all 3 different ways to complete the 30 hours. So it's within the 30 hours. So your course only option means you're taking 30 credit hours of courses. Thesis or project just means we're taking either 3 or 6 of those credit hours worth of courses and replacing them with either the project or the thesis. So it's all within that 30-hour framework.
Got it. Okay. I did have a specific question related to the calculus. There, those. So on my personal transcript, I took calculus in undergrad, but I took it twice. Right. I didn't do well the first time. I took it the second time and did pass. Do you think I'm probably set here then?
I've admitted students who have taken calculus more than once
Right.
and done well. And I usually tell people you have to make a judgment call. You know, I can look at, okay, you've shown that you can successfully pass calculus. Great. Tell applicants and students, you know, make a judgment call on your end, how comfortable you feel with doing that stuff. So I can admit you, it's up to you to decide whether you feel prepared enough with that. Depending on the coursework you take, some are more quantitative heavy than others. It is a technical degree, so you should expect some quantitative analysis in pretty much every class as an engineering degree. But like, do you know differentiation and integration? Are you comfortable doing some of that? We're not going to necessarily, I don't believe, get into theoretical, you know, proving of calculus theorem at this point. We're just looking to see if you can use those tools in another setting.
Got it. Okay. That sounds good. And then I'd probably be interested in more of the healthcare system engineering certificate. Is that
Great.
like, what are those courses? Am I looking at them all now just in pieces or what?
Right. So I don't have it pulled up right in front of me. I believe the healthcare systems engineering certificate consists of quality of care and patient safety, ISC 682, health IT and clinician support, ISC 684,
Yep.
and ISC 662, predictive analytics for decision making, which is down here. So those three make up the healthcare systems engineering certificate.
Great. Okay. I like that one. And then I'm going to ask the unpopular question. To what degree are these courses getting into, you know, the use of AI right into engineering and all that?
We are incorporating AI into our coursework as we speak, at the undergraduate, graduate, on campus, and online levels. And so that, and I'm on a committee at Speed School that is working on AI in education. So the few things I want to say on this are, one, there's a couple different things that means. So AI in education means, you know, how can we teach the future engineers to leverage AI to their benefit, like, right? Because it's going to be a tool that you have access to as a professional. And it's honestly going to be a tool that your bosses are going to ask you to use to get your job done or be more, you know, efficient or productive in your job. So there's teaching people how to use AI to be productive and effective. And then there's also, you know, setting AI expectations in the classroom of like, hey, you're here to learn this topic. Don't just spit out AI garbage as your, you know, submissions for your work, like actually learn the material. But there is a way to leverage AI to learn as well, right? You can use AI as a tutor. That's a big thing that we're seeing AI can be useful for if you ask it the right questions. And that's another skill that has to be developed, is how to ask it the right questions. So depending on the course, there are different ways the AI is leveraged in the coursework. I can't speak to each course individually. As an instructor for a few of the courses, we're putting it in at the very minimum as a how to use AI in this course appropriately and effectively. And then there may be a couple courses, because we have a couple faculty who their research focus does involve the use of like human AI interaction or human AI teaming. And so they're weaving that into their coursework as well. I'm curious why that wouldn't be why that's an unpopular question. I feel like that's a popular question.
Oh, well, I was mostly making the social media type joke of everybody getting booed at commencement speeches lately if they talk about it. But
I did see that. Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, there's a serious, not serious, but a legitimate thing going on there where, you know, if you have a whole student population who's been told they can't use AI, and then they hear from their administration that they're using AI to write the commencement speech, I could see the frustration in that. And in addition to whatever other examples there are. But yeah, I think we need to, as an engineering school, JV Speed School believes, and our department believes, we need to equip our students with knowledge about AI. What is it? What can it do? And also some skills and like how you can use it and leverage it. Because it's, like I mentioned earlier, your ISE tool belt, it's going to be another tool in the tool belt. You just got to know how to apply it correctly, right? You wouldn't drive a screw with a hammer. You'd be going at it for a while if you did. So we have to equip students with the tool and know how to use it.
Hi, Dr.
I
Jacob.
did
Thank
have-
you. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I
Go.
already asked one.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Jacob. He asked you almost my question, but I have two more. I'm interested also in healthcare and logistic. Do you know what course can I take for certificate of logistic and supply chain?
Yeah, the logistics and supply chain certificate. Let me just go ahead and pull up some more information. I think I shared a window on Teams, so let me share my screen so you can see what I'm switching over to.
Okay.
And then I'll show you exactly where we can get this information.
Okay.
Stop sharing, and then we'll share this screen. Okay. Oh, who's that handsome devil on the MSISE website? Oh, we got new websites now, so let me.
Okay.
This isn't what it used to look like. It's great when we change things, but it takes a minute to get used to them.
Yeah.
Okay, you were interested in the engineering
Mhm.
logistics. Here we go. So it includes one of two courses, either
Okay.
operations research methods or system simulation, one of those two
Okay.
courses, and then two of these four, but really it's just these two: facility location and layout and production inventory systems, because 655 is not offered online. It's not available as an online course. 657 sometimes is offered as an online course, because this is the page just for the certificate, and the certificate exists online and on campus, so everything has to be listed. But 657 is sometimes offered online, but I think spring 25 might have been the last time it was offered. Don't hold me to that. I don't remember specifically.
That's why I need to still connect with my advisor to know when it's online or not, right?
Yeah. I would help you, pick your courses and select courses towards the certificate that you're interested in, with or without the degree, whether you're doing the degree or just the certificate. Some students, you can be a non-degree seeking certificate student. Some of the courses, like 645 system simulation, does have a prerequisite, which is ISE 560, which you would need for your MSISE degree. So if you were a degree seeking student, you would take that and then start taking your courses towards a certificate. As a non-degree seeking student, you might have to take that course as a non-degree seeking student as a prerequisite, and then you can start taking your certificate courses.
I'm good. Okay. The last question is I took 180 Math 180 in Kentucky State University. I don't know if like 180 over there, when I transfer for my master at Louisville, they're gonna be accept that as a calculus one, because you say offer like 180 Math 180 as a calculus one at Louisville.
Right.
My transfer gonna be a calculus one. I'm not gonna be with take it.
I can't speak to it without looking at it, but I would ask, you would send me the syllabus for the course, and I'd take a look at the syllabus and look at, the the material that's covered in that course and make a judgment call on whether that would meet the criteria. Yeah. The main
Okay.
thing I'm looking for is, do you cover differential calculus and integration, and a few other things, but most of your calculus 1 classes that I've reviewed, I've looked at like one calculus course in the past year that I've kind of been like unsure on, but most courses from multiple different places have been acceptable.
Okay. Okay. Good. Thank you.
Yep. But yeah, I'd be happy to take a look at it for you and let you know if I thought it would qualify for our requirement.
Sure. Definitely.
All right. Did you have any other? Okay. I don't think you had other questions. Antoine, did you have another question?
Yeah, it was a brief one. It's about the capstone project. This would sort of be like my second master's, and I did a capstone before. I just want to know if you could tell me what the support or structure for that class is. Is it like the professor gives you like general guidance on your project as you work through it, or do you work hand in hand with someone during the entire process?
Yeah. So I haven't advised a student through the project or thesis option yet, in the year that I've been doing this. And I don't think since we started the program in 2022 or around there, I don't know how many students have gotten through it, if any. But what I know about it is typically the way we'll manage it before you even decide to take the project option is take a few classes. Once you've taken a few classes, then you indicate that you're interested in the project option. We'll start talking about it. And what we ask the student to do is identify an advisor in the department that will oversee the project. So you may take a few courses, and say you take a course with Dr. Salim or Dr. Aklon or any of the faculty, and you decide, I really like that professor. I kind of want to work with them. I have an idea for a project. Maybe you have a project at work you kind of want to double dip this project with. That's fine. And so you would work directly with that faculty to figure out what the project, scope would be, what the, objective and deliverables and all that would be. And then you would work with that faculty one-on-one throughout the semester that the project would go over to completion. I'm currently working on a more formal request form because I've had another student asking about a current student that's interested in the project option. And so I'm currently working on that request form, but those would be kind of the things that would transpire.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Reed, I had another. I do work full-time.
Yep.
And so I was curious what you thought was a typical course load, or what's even possible, right, for a working professional. Yep. Are you watching the videos at night and doing coursework after work, that type of stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so I'll tell you what kind of the extreme ends are. So I mentioned earlier some students can get done in 2 semesters. I've had one do that in recent memory. There may have been more, but I have one in recent memory. But they came to us with 2 transfer credits from another master's program, which if you do have credits from another graduate program, we do accept up to 6 credit hours of transfer credit if they're applicable. So that's the one extreme end. And in that case, you're taking 4 courses per semester across 2 semesters. That means you're taking 2 8-week courses simultaneously for 8 weeks. That's the first half of the semester. Then the second half of the semester, which starts almost immediately after the first one ends, that back to back. Then you're taking 2 more 8-week courses together. And then that's 1 semester. And then the next semester, you repeat that. That, in my opinion, is a heavy course load. And I typically don't even advise students coming in their first semester to do that. It's up to students if they want to do that, but I'm going to advise against it. Some students do it anyway, and they do fine. And some students that take that full course load, which is 12 credit hours in a semester, that's the maximum you can take. Some of them are working, and they do it just fine, but I don't know if I would want to do it that way. I think most students who are working tend to take either 3 to 6 credit hours in a semester. I think most take 6, where you take an 8-week course by itself, and then that first half ends and the second half starts. You take another 8-week course, and then the semester's over, and then they do that again the next semester. You can do that every semester, fall, spring, summer. We only offer ISE 560 in the summer through our department. So most students who take summer classes will take electives through other departments, or they'll take engineering management courses through our department. It's the same department, it's just another degree program within our department for engineering management. So I think most people who work would take those 6 credit hours per semester, and they may or may not take courses in the summer, just depending on if they want to take electives or if they just want to take ISE courses, and depending on how soon they want to get done, right? If you don't take courses in the summer, obviously it's going to take longer, which is fine. You have, I can't remember, but you have a certain number of years to finish the degree. It's like 5 years, I think, once you start. And the minimum number of courses you can take, I wanted to give you the other end of the spectrum. You can take as little as 3 credit hours per semester in the spring and the fall, and not take any summer courses and maintain full-time status as a student. That's like the minimum, but I think most students who work take that, 6 credit hours per semester.
Right.
And I will say, go ahead.
Sorry, I agree. So you're saying for 6, it'd be you'd be taking one course for the first 8 weeks and another course, and then you finish that course, you take the second course on the next 8. So it's only one course at a time.
Right.
Would be the load. Okay. That helps a lot.
Yeah. And I will say, because we're a very flexible program, we try to accommodate a variety of different people coming into the program. What that ends up meaning is not only individual instructor flexibility, but if, say, we get a lot of military students as well, if they need to take a semester off in the spring or the fall, they can do that. And then when they come back, they just, fill out a form or whatever for that leave period, or before they leave. I can't remember the logistics of it. But sometimes, you get a order that you need to leave in a week and you're going to be gone for 2 months and you can't really take a course. So that's an option as well that students have the ability to take advantage of.
Great.
Me again. They have a way to finish the program in 12 to 15 months.
It's possible. It requires some, the pieces to be in the right place. But if you take a full course load, which would be 12 credit hours a semester, you can finish in 3 semesters.
Okay.
If you are coming into the program with transfer credits, you can finish in as little as 2 semesters, but that doesn't happen very often. Like I said, I have like one student that's done that recently.
Okay.
That I can think of.
Okay.
But 15, sorry, not 15. A year and a half, which would be 4 semesters, kind of. Yeah, that's doable.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Hi, Dr. Reed.
Hello.
So my name is Bowie, and I was just wondering what the admission rate for this program is.
Admission rate?
Yes.
Um,
If you know it, like roughly.
Meaning the number of people who apply versus the number of people that are accepted, or the number of people who apply and the number of people who actually take classes?
The number of people who applied versus the number of people who are accepted.
Okay. I don't know the number. It is high. I don't have to turn a lot of people away, and I tend to not, what's the word? I tend to not deny an application if it's for a reason such as you don't have Calculus 1 on your transcript. So if someone applies and they don't have Calculus 1 on the transcript, I don't just outright deny them. I usually go back to them and say, hey, if you get Calculus 1 on your transcript, we'll hold your application, or put it in a hold status until you do that. And a lot of people tend to go do the calculus, and then I hear back from, a month or 2 later, like, hey, I finished the calculus and I'm ready to start. So the admission rate, as far as I've been doing admissions for the past year, has been pretty high.
Thank you. And another question. I know that Speed School is more known for their co-op program as well. Is
Yep.
there a way in this program for us to connect with professionals already in the field? For example, I'm coming from a non-engineering background, so I was wondering, is there a way that I can meet different professions and make those connections, do those networking, and eventually land a job as soon as the program's over?
Yeah, so we don't do much with our co-op office at the in our master's degree. I believe as a U of L or sorry, as a Speed School student, you would have access to that co-op office. And some of the resources they have an online database for people looking for new hires and people looking for jobs and the people looking for the applicants. They call it, I think it's called Simplicity, but it's just a tool that you have access to as a student at Speed School. As far as our network in ISE, we do have a pretty good alumni, and you know, I would just say our alumni network is pretty good. Actually, there's something that I'm gonna share with you all before we hop off, which is an opportunity to do a meet and greet with everybody in here. Obviously, is invited. People that are current students in our program are also going to be invited to come. And I have a guest speaker coming who is one of our alumni who graduated recently. I actually happily ran into him in Texas about a week ago at a conference. And he can probably speak well to that, being someone who's utilized our alumni network and connections and things like that. Other than that, just building relationships with your classmates and faculty while you're in the program is a good way to build that network. Our faculty across all the faculty have, their own networks that they can, like if you're interested in manufacturing, talk to some of our manufacturing faculty. They can get you connected with those people. If you're interested in human factors, you talk to our human factors faculty and get connected through their network. I just had a student who was military connected, who was planning to retire and move and get a job in industry. And so we had an industry advisory board member who was also in the military. And so I connected him with him. Hopefully he gets to move to Louisville and get a job here. Yeah. So I'd say there's those options, and really just building and connecting with all of our faculty.
Thank you.
Yep.
I did have one last question, and it's about availability of certain classes. All right, I'm sure there are certain classes that only are available during certain semesters, but for the most part, are majority of them loosely flexible or flexible enough that you could finish it in like a year and a half?
Yeah. So availability, the course that's offered year round is ISE 560 because it's a core course and it's needed for other courses. The other core course, ISE 664, is only offered once a year in the spring. And most of the other courses that you see are offered once a year, either in the fall or the spring. However, some of them are only offered intermittently, and that depends on a number of different things. Like ISE 675 was last offered in the spring. It probably won't be offered again next spring because that instructor, I believe, is going on sabbatical, maybe. Not sure. The 655 and 657 courses I mentioned earlier on the website, one of those isn't available in an online format. The other one is available intermittently depending on faculty availability. All the other courses I'm looking at here on this screen are available every year other than the usability course. And there is another faculty becoming available this fall who would be teaching one of the manufacturing focused courses online, and developing hopefully another online manufacturing course. So for the most part, courses are offered the same time of year every year. Oh, one caveat to that, system simulation, one of the courses I facilitate online, it's moving semesters, but it'll be available this fall. Come next fall in 2027, it'll actually move to the spring of 2028. So most of the time courses stay pretty static. It's not the norm that courses change their availability. So to answer your last question on could you finish within a year to two and take all the courses you want to take? Yes, you might need to double up on courses potentially if you're trying to. That's why I usually think about it this way as a trade-off between taking more courses and getting the courses you want and getting done sooner. If you want to take the courses you want and you don't want to take multiple courses at a time, it's just going to take you longer to complete to make sure you get to take those courses you want to take.
Sweet. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep. Well, before anybody else hops off, I saw one person had to leave. I do want to share this invitation, which I'll send to your emails. But next week on Wednesday, I'm going to host a meet and greet, which is an opportunity to not hear from just me. You can hear from Mr. Chris Kitchens, one of our esteemed alumni who works at Chick-fil-A in the supply chain logistics side of things. And I'm hoping some of our current students will come and some other alumni may come. I'm inviting all of them to be there. But Chris will be there. If you're watching this, I don't know, on your laptop and you have your phone, you can scan this QR code. When I send this out, you can just click the RSVP link, which will just take you to a Microsoft form to indicate that you are planning to come. It's again going to be at 12 noon to 1 p.m. Again, Wednesday, June 3rd. It'll be virtual online format, but this is not a formal setting by any means. I'm giving you information, just answering questions, but this is even less formal, more of just an open chat, ask questions of our current students and alumni and hear from them. If you want to get a better sense of the program and have Chris talk about, what the degree's done for him in his role at Chick-fil-A and what his experience was like in the program and things like that. So I hope to see most, if not all of you all there, and some other of our students and alumni. I think I can share this just in the chat, maybe. See if I have a good enough of a engineering education to figure out how to attach something in a Teams message. I might not. But while I'm trying to figure that out, if there are any more questions, please just come off mute, raise your hand.
Hey, Dr. E, one last question. I am a local student, so I live in Louisville. I was
Excellent.
wondering if I could do a hybrid kind of program where some classes are in person and some are online. I do work full time, so I'm wondering, are these in-person classes going to be during business hours or are they outside of business hours?
Yeah, we don't really have evening classes like most people would think about evening classes. All of our on-campus courses meet, I would say during regular business hours. I was trying to think when our earliest course is, but really I only know when my courses are scheduled usually. My courses are usually scheduled no earlier than 11 a.m. and no later than 5 p.m. But I believe we may have some courses that are taught earlier than that, like it maybe as early as 8 a.m., but 8 to 5 normal business hours are when the on-campus courses are offered. And being an on-campus course, there is an expectation, that you're coming to class and you're available throughout the semester. So you would be at exams in person, you would be in class in person. Whereas the difference in an online class, there's not that expectation. Your expectation is to just review the content when you can within a reasonable amount of time. Usually a week is the deadline for like homeworks and things like that. As far as doing it a hybrid, if you can commit to an on-campus course, I haven't really advised a student that has done that, although we have had some local, other Louisville online program students, which is great. I haven't seen a lot of them take on-campus courses, but I've advised them, to look at them if they have the option, the ability to do it, that they can.
Okay, thank you. I don't think I could get out of my job, unfortunately, but I'll keep
Yeah.
it in mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dr. Reed, just a quick follow-up to what Antoine had mentioned earlier.
Yep.
For the software tools that may be used in some of the classes, I think you mentioned something about AutoCAD maybe used in one. Do you have a recommended source for non-engineering students to maybe go to get up to speed on some of just the basics on those software tools?
The only one I would say you would need any prerequisite information coming in would maybe be Excel. So if you are pretty well versed in using Excel, I wouldn't worry too much. In the courses I teach or facilitate that use Minitab, or that other instructors teach using Minitab, and even in the simulation course that uses Simio, we walk through how to use the software in the class for the needs of the class. And obviously, we're not going through every button and menu item in the software because it's not a software class. For AutoCAD, I don't think you need to come in with a lot of prerequisite knowledge. It's not a required software necessarily for the course. For the project, you are laying out a facility design. And so AutoCAD's a good way to get a sketch or a drawing of your facility. But if there's any other kind of way to draft your facility design, we're not requiring the use of AutoCAD for that. It is just an option. I don't believe the course listing requires the use of it. At least it shouldn't, because we got rid of something that required it like a year ago or something like that. Let me just go to the listing. It's right here. Yeah. Yeah, I think we successfully got rid of that software requirement for that course. I would say Excel, and if you aren't super familiar or comfortable with Excel, then I'd have to think about.
No, I think I mean for me, Excel is fine. I think the AutoCAD was the one that kind of threw me off. Like where I work, I have it's a similar program that we use to read drawings, but or view drawing files. But I've never used AutoCAD to like create anything, so that would be something new. For me. So anyway, just my curiosity, but I appreciate the explanation.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the wonderful thing nowadays is you can just use simple sources like, YouTube and Google to find ways to, like, how do I do this specific thing in this specific software? As someone once told me, 10, 15 years ago, and nowadays it's even more true, you're 99.9% of the time not the first person who's been looking for the answer to this question, and it's probably is posted somewhere. But like you asked, the question is nowadays, what's the reliable source of information? Thanks for the questions, everybody. I'm going to wrap this up we're just almost at 1 o'clock. If there's no more questions, if you do have more questions that you come up with, please do feel free to email me those questions. As I mentioned, I will get you a copy of these slides sent to you all, the emails you used to register for the info session, as well as the invitation to that meet and greet. I hope all of you can make it. I look forward to seeing a bunch of people there. But that's all I have for today. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
I hope to see your application soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks again.
Yes.